Hello, welcome back to Miss Flores' virtual classroom. Today is November the 19th. It is Thursday today. Happy Thursday. We've already been doing science for the first 3 days this week, and today we're doing social studies, and tomorrow will be a social studies lesson too. Now, this week's social studies lesson is going to be a little special, and that's okay, because this week is a review. We're going to be talking about topics that we've already covered. We're going to be going backwards into other studies weeklies we've done before in order to help us review some of the information that we have already learned, right? And this goes into some of our standards. Let's go ahead and talk about those standards first. We're going to be doing 2.15a, gather information using a variety of valid oral and visual resources, such as pictures. We're going to be looking at pictures and gathering information. We're going to be looking at maps and gathering information, and maybe some artifacts. 2.15b, we're going to be having to compare and contrast some ideas. Maybe we'll have to sequence some things in order. You might have to make some predictions. All right, 2.16d, we're going to be using social studies terminology. We're going to be using special social studies vocabulary. 2.16e, we're going to have to think about ideas based on the things that you've experienced and things that we're learning in our social studies lesson. 2.16f, you might have to draw some pictures of a map and others in your assignment for today. 2.1a, explain the significance of holidays, such as Veterans Day, which we just had this past week, and Thanksgiving, which is coming up next week. And then 2.2a, identify contributions of historical figures. We're going to be looking at historical figures that we have already studied. For instance, famous explorers. And the last one is 2.3a, identify and use information on maps and globes, such as basic math elements such as titles, cardinals, directions, and legends. And we are going to be looking at legends during this review. So this review is going to touch on a bunch of little different topics that we've already covered, and I know that you are going to do great. The very first topic we're going to be covering is the first people to live in North America were American Indians or Native Americans. Right, and it says to find where the Cheyenne, the Hopi, the Iroquois, the Seminole, and the Tlingit lived. And so I'm just going to go a little backwards, and I'm going to go back to our week 9 when we learned about North American Indian nations, Native Americans, and we went and learned about where they were from. So let's go ahead and start with the Cheyenne. I'm going to go ahead and let it play real quick for you.
The Cheyenne live in the Great Plains region of the United States. Long ago, the Cheyenne hunted buffalo for food. In the winter, they wore buffalo skins to keep warm.
So let me go ahead and go back, and then it said, find where these Native American tribes lived. It gives us a big old map. So where did the Cheyenne live? They lived in this big orange area on top. Let's go ahead and look at our next Native American tribe, the Iroquois.
Many Iroquois live in the state of New York. For many years, they grew corn, beans, and squash. They called them the Three Sisters.
So let's go ahead and go back to our original map. And where did the Iroquois live? They lived in this blue area right here, which is also the state of New York. All right, let's go ahead and look at our next Native American nation.
The Hopi live in the southwestern region of the United States. The Hopi believe that everyone should love all people, plants, and animals.
All right, so where did the Hopi live? They lived in this purple area down here. That's Texas. So we may have already had some Hopi Native American tribes that have lived in this area. Let's go ahead and go on to our last two Native American nations.
The Seminole have lived in Florida for nearly 300 years. Long ago, many Seminole lived in homes called chickees. A chickee is an open building with a roof made of cabbage palm leaves.
So where did the Seminole live? They lived in this yellow area right here, which is Florida. All right, and then let's look at our very last nation.
The Tlingit live in Alaska. Tlingit often carve totem poles. A totem is an animal spirit that belongs to a group of Tlingit.
And our very last tribe, the Tlingit, where do they live? They live in this green area up here, which is Alaska, right? So these are really important wherever they lived. I'll go ahead and put up this map and you will be able to label them during your own time for your assignment today. All right, our very next one that we're going to review is natural resources. A natural resource is any material from the earth that people can use. We need natural resources for many things. Look at the picture below. Circle the pictures that show natural resources. All right, and these are our natural resources, right? So some of these are natural resources and some of them aren't. Let's go ahead and go through these together. What's our very first one? That's water. Oh my gosh, and that's our science unit right now. 2.7b is water. So is this a natural resource? Yes, it is. Natural resources that are things that our earth provides us with. Things that grow on their own that people do not make. Those are man-made resources. Our next picture are some trees in a forest. Is this a man-made resource or a natural resource? It's a natural resource. Great job. Our next one is a hat. Can you grow hats on trees? Definitely not. Can you find a hat coming out of the ocean? Swimming out of the ocean? No, you can't. This is a man-made resource. All right, our next one is sun. Is solar energy. Is that going to be a natural resource or a man-made resource? That's a natural resource. Great job. Our next one are crops. Plants that we have planted. Now that one's a little tricky, but it is a natural resource because the earth can provide it. And then our very last one is a car. Is that a natural resource or is it a man-made resource? That is a man-made resource. We make it ourselves. All right, we're going to do one more for our social studies review today. Our next one is going to be to use coordinates. I'm going to go ahead and open this big old map. Remember, we are going to use the numbers on the side. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers on this side. And then we have numbers on the bottom, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, K, L, M, N, N. Now, these are our letters, and then you're going to use the numbers and the letters and the lines where things connect to tell you where the coordinates of a city is. Let's go ahead and try one. Our nation's capital is Washington, D.C. What is the coordinates for our nation's capital? I like to start on the bottom where the letters are, so I know I'm on letter L because it comes up to Washington, D.C. And then I'm going to count how many spaces, like how many numbers I have. So I have L, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what coordinate is it? It's on L6. Let's go ahead and try one more. Let's go ahead and try our city of Austin, Texas, right? That is just a little bit below us. We all know where Austin is. So where is Austin? What are the coordinates for Austin? I'm going to go ahead and start on the letter. The letter is G. And then let me count how many spots I go. 1, 2. So I am at G2. Great job. Today, during your assignment, you are going to be looking for the coordinates for a given city yourself. You will be using this map too. All right, Hunts. So that is actually our entire social studies lesson for today. Please make sure you do your assignment for today. Have a great Thursday, students.